most importantly, man, I'm excited to be back, dog. We in this thing. We are back. It's your boy Uncle JB. One man, Biscuit Head Nick over here.
Only JB calls me that. We don't have to get that going around. That doesn't have to be my internet name. We can stick with White Lightning or the Flash, something like that. You ask the people who went to high school with me. That was my nickname.
I'm gonna make sure I ask him because I don't know if that was your nickname.
Oh yeah, maybe better off not to ask him. But that's what I called myself. So that's same type of thing. We can move on though. We can move on.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on, man. But man, it's so good. It's been about 2.5 years since we did a podcast, man.
Yeah,
obviously,
long time.
2.5 years, a lot can happen in that time, and I know for me personally, a lot's happened. Like what I'm saying. What about you, man? Like what's been going on these past couple of years?
Yeah, man. It's been just been a lot of working on myself, working on my relationships, my job. I got a new job between now and then, so I switched it up. Same company, but we doing something different, trying to move on to bigger and better things, take opportunities, so some new passions. I've been trying to find, where I wanted to invest my time, and be strategic with that. So, a couple of things opening up, like I'm starting to get into coaching a little bit. So, really enjoying it.
What coaching, like football?
Yeah, like little 7-on-7,
Okay.
they some little troublemakers, man. They're really going to be good. And so it's some young local talent, and but they from all over the place. We'll see. I just dipping my toes in it, man. That's something I want to get into. But the last couple of years, that's something I've really been honing in on. It's taking me a minute to get there. Yeah. What about you?
Man, same, man. Like, it's back a couple of years ago. I got a promotion at work, so I started a different job. And,
yes, sir.
Ended up moving to DC.
Yeah.
So I've been out in Washington DC, and it's different, obviously. East Coast versus the South. It's East Coast is a little bit more fast moving, fast paced.
Right.
But it was dope because in a way, I was out there and everything. I had to start everything new.
Yeah.
Right. Just it was a new place, new city, new job. Everything was new, man. And in a way, I kind of embraced that. Sometimes it can feel weird being by yourself or out there. You can have this sense of loneliness, but in a way, God used that time to, kind of use that as my cocoon, man. And,
right.
I was able to grow and learn about myself and self-reflect and self-evaluate and really look at how I want to kind of make adjustments moving forward in my life. And, so I'm appreciative of having taken the job, and things have worked out and things have gotten even better for us. So during this time of just being in and out, I felt like I've created a good foundation for myself personally. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so dope to be back in front of, everybody here on our YouTube channel, because it's been a minute. So we were the Box TV last time, right?
Exactly. So did you want to tell, we were the Box, but we switched it up. It's the halftime. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that happened?
Man, so first off, right, the Box TV, it was born, or it came about out of us watching a football game. Yeah. And at the halftime of the show, Biscuit Head Nick was like, we should create a podcast. And I actually took it serious. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do it. Let's actually do it. And that's where the Box TV came about. And we did that in the apartment. We just did something random. Just grab some, hey, let's grab a box, throw some topics in there, pull it out, and read it. And I think, obviously whenever, I got the promotion, I had to leave town and stuff like that. During that past 2 years, we took time not away from our friendship, but away from the podcast, just because we were doing different stuff. And I think now that we've been able to come back and with a new mindset, with this sense of newness, it was only right to have a new name, right? Yeah. And go after something that kind of I guess correlates in both of our lives, right? And
absolutely.
I think we've both been able to make adjustments and changes. And I think that is, all the small wins, all the small things you do in life is what really cultivate like the overall
That's
best
what it's
life
all
for
about.
you know?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like winning the game happen. You got to make them adjustments at halftime. The team that adjusts better at half wins the game, right?
Exactly. Whether you doing good or not so good, right? It don't really matter. But at the end of the day, you have to be. You know what I'm saying, on your P's and Q's.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And what is halftime though? It's a chance to dissect, to take a minute, sit down, rest, reflect. You know, think about what you're going through, what you just did, or something new, right? Or try something new, and then you go back out there and repeat and try to be better than you were the last time, right? So I think that's, something that everybody can relate to in life, and it's important to take halftime, especially today. You know how everything is so accelerated, man. You get a notification on another notification on top of a text on top of a call. Like, it's so easy to go from one thing to the next thing. But taking time to really sit down and stop is something that we all don't ever do enough. So that's why I think is even more of a reason for this show, as it's time to think and to take on different views, right?
And strategize, man, and come together and share ideas and collaborate. And I think the best thing that I take away from halftime is that it doesn't matter if you're at a halfway point of your life. Like, every day is halftime. Right? Every day. So in a way, it's like you want to think about how can I make or better a situation. You want to think about your goals. And I think so often we can look at our lives at how successful we are versus how we're working in significance. Right. And I think sometimes that could take away from how you live your life, because if you're not successful, you know what I mean, then you, like, comparison is a killer of joy, happiness, and creativity. Absolutely. Right? So if you look at yourself compared to somebody else, like, I'm not as successful as this person, then you go through life in a different type of way versus what am I doing? Is it significant or not? Is it purposeful or not? You see what I'm saying?
Because in that way, if you living like that, then each game, if you will, each day of life builds on the last. You don't win or lose based on one outcome or one poor decision or one, you know what I'm saying? You learning and you living and so you got to take your halftime to dissect, sit down, understand what just happened, and go through the next thing.
Exactly, and accepting the small wins. Right? Like,
being detail oriented.
Yeah, everything, it's, to me, it's always about the little things, and God loves the little things, right? The little details.
Absolutely.
And I think that when you focus on the little wins and you put them together over a course of a week, you look back with gratitude, and I think that you look back with, like, wow, like, I'm progressing and I'm moving forward. Right. And I think sometimes when we don't get the overarching goal that we all shoot for, and I can say I used to do it myself. I would always say, hey, I gotta have this goal, I gotta get this done. Right. And then when it didn't happen, I would be like, man, am I not good enough? Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I am. It's just, it happens in its time and in its season. So I think
ultimately, I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring that out for everybody in the community. We want to make it this is a show. It's driven for the community, right? We trying to do what we can to help the community, and this show is a way that we can help, vocalize other people's beliefs. Everybody, we open to all opinions. We want to be engaged, right? We want everybody, right?
We want to celebrate every single person.
Whether you agree or you disagree, whether you like it or not, we want to hear it regardless, because we trying to help put a platform out there for people to be real and to be in the community and speak to their community about what they see or how they see a certain issue and have that conversation, right?
Yeah, man. And I think the biggest thing too, I like we said in the last podcast, we ain't no pastor, we ain't no judge. No. We ain't anybody's dad or mom, nothing like that. At best case, look at me as your brother. Your Uncle JB, right? But at the end of the day, we don't want to judge anybody. We just want to talk about what's really going on out here in the world. Some fun topics, sports, some world topics. You name it. Talking about. Sometimes we talk about best workouts, best food to eat, best books to read.
You never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get. And that leads me to the next thing of how we used to do the box, right?
Oh yeah, we don't. You notice there's no box here. There's no box.
All right, what we got now is we got some lockers.
Oh yeah, we do.
And in each of these lockers is a topic. So it's kind of like the same thing last time. You know, we pulled out out of a box a topic and we get into it. But this time we're gonna pull out the locker. And we're gonna get into it. So all these questions in here, they come from people that we talk to, right? So leave your comments in the comment section and make sure y'all liking and subscribing, man, because we definitely again, it's a community and we want to be able to have this as an all inclusive podcast where we hear from everybody. And if you local, man, we can talk about setting up some time to come on the podcast and share your thoughts as well, man. So with that said,
man, hey, let me go on, man. Let me see what's in this number 2. Number 2.
What we got?
Oh, we got some. Wait, World War III.
Oh.
World War III.
Right now?
Is that happening right now? I don't hear no missiles or nothing going on. But Chinese spy balloons. I have seen some of that. And
Chinese. It was like what? 3 of them in the U.S. No, or in North America or something like that, right?
It was over like Canada and Alaska.
Man, I think it was like. So I heard somebody say somewhere where it was just a balloon just floating out there, just flying around, just floating. But it wasn't. It was like a balloon where you can maneuver and take your places, and it wasn't like it was just
flowing with the wind.
Like somebody let go their Hobby Lobby balloon and it just floating up there in the wind. It wasn't like that. It was like a advanced like balloon.
And it was like hovering in a specific range, a specific altitude together. I'm sure specific data, so.
It was like, I think I saw somewhere it was like 40 different countries.
With
5, like 5 continents. So it's not like you just flying it just to get weather data.
Nah. And amidst the timing of everything too, with everything heating up, globally with, Russia and China working together and them trying to create BRICS and their own payment system and all that. And, I think it's definitely, it's more than just a weather balloon. And if it's just a weather balloon, then it was a signal. There was a test of some sort to try to see kind of what we were going to do with it or how we would respond, I think. I think it was more than just...
But we did the most American thing, shot it down.
Yeah. I guess that's what was expected, right? We didn't do it as quickly as some people had liked, though.
Nah. But because, you don't want to shoot down something and it got like some toxins or something.
Yeah, I think they handled it as good as they could. It was weird that it was hovering. But what if it just dropped the projectile? Anyways, I mean, that's...
we can get into a whole bunch of kind of crazy stuff. But there was still, though, that the question about World War III, I mean, we were talking about the other day how you gave a stat where America in its existence has only been...
Oh yeah, man. We've only been in existence. So, all right, of America's their whole lifetime, America's only not been in war for 14 years. That's it. 14 years of our existence that we have not been in war.
War going, gun toting.
Oh, it's a machine, man. It's a machine over here. So, and that's something that's well known. It's something that's broadcasted. We know that as Americans.
Why? Because it's not, like you were saying, it's not all just, our war. We get into, we involve ourselves in other wars and stuff like that as well. And I mean,
we stick our hand in everything.
Yeah, and is World War III far fetched? I don't think so.
No way. No, I don't. I mean, not like right now. Maybe
not right now, but I mean, you gotta think about it. Like some people are still alive that been through a world war, right?
That's
so
true.
It's not like this has never happened,
right?
So it's, and it begs the question. Like, I mean, why do you send spy balloons? Why do you send that? I mean, I think you do that to get a rise out of people, right? And see how nations react,
right?
To create tension.
Yeah, I mean, for sure they knew what they were doing. I mean, they they're no this is just a fact. Beijing's known for like spy operations. Like that's a known thing. I'm sure, and probably we're no different. I'm pretty sure we've done all kinds of stuff, but you know what I'm saying. But they know what they're doing too. It's not like it's just us. So I think there's something to it. But yeah, I think it begs the question. The Bible talks a lot about the kings of the East. Right, and if you've been keeping up with the latest, then you know that the Euphrates River, like the timeline of it drying up had been accelerated, and it's drying up faster than they originally thought. So so it may continue to go faster or what have you. But once
I think right now they say 2040, right?
Yeah, and once that dries up, and this one already craziness is already breaking loose right now. Don't get me wrong, but when that happens, right. You talking about the angels that was locked down there being released. You talking about eventually the armies from the kings of the East coming to the West through the Euphrates River, right? And what was the number? It's a lot of
200 million.
200 million.
You know what I'm saying? That's the sixth trumpet. You know what I mean? That's you talking about in the Bible, Revelation 9:13-21, and like what other country do you know in the East that have 200 million at least able soldiers?
Able soldiers, yeah, people that would willingly be.
Because America, we got 300 million. We're not in the East, but like still, we got 300 million people, right? Somewhere around there, I think, right? I'm not sure of China's population, but I think it's
over a billion. I'm sure. Right? I mean, at last I checked, they were at least a billion strong.
But what's crazy is that people think the Bible is a folklore. It's like it's a fairy tale. It's not true, but it's like
I quote it, but they don't want to believe all the things that say. Only little pieces.
They want to have a Pinterest Bible, right? Like that. I mean, you got to read the Bible in its full entirety in its context, and if you do that, you see that it's not only true, but it's living. It's something that was written thousands of years ago.
That still applies.
And it's happening right now.
Yeah. And how many other things that can do that?
What other text does that? There's other good things that you can read out there that might be true, but is it living though? Right. You know what I mean? Like this is living, breathing word that is coming true. Like that's the same way with Jesus. I know we're getting a little off topic, but he was the living word that became flesh. Right? And so, in a lot of ways, these prophecies are becoming true right in front of us, and it seems as if people are like that ain't really.
Yeah, you better pay attention. Better open your eyes. Make sure you're looking at everything from a full perspective. A lot of people don't even think about things from anybody besides their own perspective. And I tell you, for somebody who's never done that, who's never thought from another, doing that exercise of, all right, what would things feel like if I put myself in their shoes, and you really sat with that for more than 2 seconds, if I actually sitting with it, things really start to change. You really start to wonder, wow, how am I coming across? And it becomes more of like, oh, well, they just perceive me wrong, to being like, how can I?
But some people are too selfish to even want to cross that, right? That thought, right? It's just like, like I don't really care how they feel. Like you know what I'm saying? And because I've been that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've been in a way like, I'm not gonna say aggressive, but like I'm kind of stingy with my way of things and the way I kind of want to do things. I was definitely that way, but I know that's we definitely off topic now. But but World War III, man. I mean, I think obviously, I think that's the war that kind of we alluding to in the Bible, man, and it's crazy times.
Definitely not out of the imagination, but
not outside of imagination. I mean, when realistically do you think it would pop?
I'm waiting till Euphrates. I think it could pop off, but I mean, it depends on what you mean by pop off. Like, we already in war right now. Technically, we are funding a war. It's not like, I mean, I think when it gets real, when someone starts to step foot on U.S. soil or do something like that, that's when it really starts to pop off. And if it doesn't happen before the Euphrates River dries up, then when the Euphrates River dries up, if that happens, I already know it's that time, and you better have your Bible handy. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, You want to keep it rolling? You want to check out the next one?
What? That was number 2.
That was two. Well, what are the other things we got in here, man?
Man, what's number 3? What we got? NBA teams, playoffs, your playoff picks. Who your favorites, man, in the NBA this year? That's gonna get wild. I feel like the Lakers just won. They just beat them, man. That was a crazy game. And I'm not gonna lie. If the Lakers they 4-1 since they made that trade, which was desperately needed.
Westbrook to the Clippers.
Desperately needed. If they make a run here over these next 20-something games they got, whatever it is, and they put themselves in like the 6th seed, 7th seed, something like that, bro.
Age 38, LeBron.
I would pick him over anybody in the West.
In the West. You mean Ja Morant's West?
The only team, yeah, Ja Morant's West. The only team I would say are the Nuggets. I like the Nuggets. Like, realistically, I think the Nuggets are going to come out. But I think my emotional pick is the Lakers. But not only that, I mean, look at how they playing right now. Yeah, I mean, defense look good. They just came back down from 27. Like, that's a resilient group.
I think a champion's coming out of the West. That is resiliency. 27, that was 0 and 138.
38, something like that. Something crazy.
Being down 27 in the second quarter in games this year.
You gotta give Vandy his props, bro. Vanderbilt his props.
He makes a difference.
He balls, bro. I mean, it was one play where he was on the right side of the court, and nobody else moved, but he just ran that whole thing, and they missed the shot, and I was just like, yo, bro, that's a good pickup. Right. Rob Pelinka did his thing with reconstructing the roster, and I mean, it's a friendly roster. I mean, and they could probably add in free agency for next year, but for right now, if they get into the playoffs, which I think they will. I don't see anybody in the West that could really beat them in a 7-game series with LeBron.
Yeah, definitely better than them with Westbrook.
Who has experience like that in the West?
Right. I don't know. I don't think the Suns have playoff experience.
Yeah, but they get, man. Everybody on their team are they gonna be healthy?
Yeah, they haven't proven they can stay healthy. I feel like the East is where I always more is a safer bet for a champion. To me personally, I like the Celtics. I like the Bucks. I think them young guns, Tatum and Brown, they hungry. They got other pieces, role pieces too.
They should do it. They should probably.
But Giannis is like the next closest thing to LeBron. Somebody who just is so big and so athletically gifted that he doesn't even need to shoot. That's the problem. It's like, and he still has proven he still doesn't need to shoot that well. He's so long. He's such.
I mean, Chris Middleton coming back into his form because from his injury. So like, Drew Holiday balling right now. I mean, they there too. The Sixers are there. James Harden just got to show up. He didn't show up when he was in Houston. That broke me because we had too many times where we could have went to the championship, but
he rather put on a fat suit.
And he would just be a superstar all season, put on his cape and everything. You know what I'm saying? Superman throughout the regular season, but then when the playoffs come, he just was a no-show. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. He did my Rockets dirty. But I mean, I wish my Rockets were in it. I love my Rockets, but we gonna be back. What you think? So you got the Celtics winning it?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Celtics to win it, but my head says they can get over Giannis, but my heart rides with Giannis, okay? Because Giannis is relentless, okay? He don't care if he puts up 40 shots and makes 20 of them because he just has to go up twice.
That's true, and he a menace on the defensive side too. So okay, I see that. I like the Nuggets, I do. But I do think the Lakers. And for some reason, the only reason why I'm saying, like, I think the Celtics are deep. I think they're a deep team, and I think the Bucks are a semi-deep team too. Like Bobby Portis is a beast. You know what I mean? Like they got some good talent all coming off the bench, right? But I don't know, man. Just something about them Lakers. Who do you think, or what do you think about the future number 1 pick that's coming up here, Mr.
Victor?
I don't know how you say his last name. Wimbayambe?
Wimbayam, but I don't even know.
I don't know how to say it.
Victor W, baby. Hey, I think he's a problem. Okay, I think 7'4" is a problem. He reminds me of KD. If
He did get dunked on.
He got yammed on. He got almost. It looked kind of reminiscent, not as big a body, but of when Shaq did Steve Novak or whoever he did, and he pushed him over. If the dude had dunked on him and pushed him over, and 7'4" had hit the ground, oh man, we would be having a different conversation. I wouldn't be able to back him anymore, but. Because he stayed upright, and I'm believing that in the NBA, right, he could put on some weight.
He gonna put on weight. Look at so many people that did it, right? So many Giannis, Joel Embiid did it at one point. Yeah. I mean, it's possible. He gonna put on his weight. You know what I mean? He gonna fill out. And I think when he do that, he gonna be a problem.
Is he better than Braun?
Oh no, definitely not. No, definitely not.
Come on now.
I feel like, I'm not going to call him a Chet 2.0 because I think he's better than Chet, to be honest with you. Sure. I think he has, the potential to be better than Chet, right, already. I feel like he falls somewhere in between like a Tim Duncan and a KD.
Tim Duncan and a KD. So, hey, you giving him some credit there, though. Timmy was a winner.
Timmy was a winner. He had skill, and he missed the fundamental. Mm-hmm. And I think if he brings that to the game, I mean, you can see him pulling from three, going behind his back. He's a very skilled. This kid's a very skilled player. And I don't think he's gonna be an assassin like KD. You know what I mean? I don't think he's gonna be like that. But I think that he's gonna be a good fundamental big. That's hard to stop because of his size, and that's both. That's Timmy and KD, right? So
20 and 10 guy.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna fall somewhere in there, and he'll be able to affect the play of the game. I think he'll be a centerpiece on the team. But do I think that he was a better recruit than what LeBron was?
Right? Has he changed the team scenario more than in terms of their playoff picture more than?
I don't think immediately. Because I think it's gonna take him time to fill out. I mean, look what that dude did. Like, imagine what Joel Embiid's gonna do. Yeah. Or Rudy Gobert. Like these bigger dudes that it's gonna take him a little bit of time to fill. Like, Chet got hurt playing this year, so it's like he's a little smaller.
You gotta put on some weight for sure.
He gotta put on some
weight. It takes some time. It takes a couple years.
It's gonna take a little time, but I think. Whenever he do, it's gonna be a problem. Whatever team get him, and that can get him going on that program, that dude gonna be a problem. Yeah, he long. Man. Well, go ahead. Let's pull into the next one, man.
I'm trying to get down here in this number 4.
What we got?
I like number 4.
Number 4 is.
I like number 4. What we got? Will universal health care really work in the U.S.? What you think about that, man?
Would it work? I mean, I think it would obviously work. I mean, look at so many other countries that are doing it. UK, France, Canada. In some form, right? Like, it works, right? I think it would just come down to what we want. Do we want the government to control our healthcare and dictate when we can get surgeries, what medications we can have?
Right. Nobody probably really wants that level of intimacy with them.
Higher taxes because of the of the system, but at the same time,
the current system really not working like that.
I mean, there's 27 million people that don't have health care, and it's not because they don't want health care, it's because they can't afford health care.
27 million?
27 million people don't have.
And that's out of 30 million. That's what a tenth? That's basically like a tenth, almost a tenth of the country. That's crazy.
Like, you think about it, I think there was a study done by the U.S. government. It says 22,000 people die every single year from treatable diseases. So they could have been treated, but the reason why they didn't get treated is because they didn't have health care, or they couldn't afford to pay for the medications or to see a doctor for whatever said disease. Yeah. And that's jacked 22,000 people. And it's just like, sorry. I mean, we have to be able to do something.
Right. Yeah. It's because it's not working right now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's not, and it's. I get the here in America, like we spend billions of dollars on research, and we have some of the best doctors in the world, and some of the best institutions in the world and stuff like that, right? And I think we have more or less more access to surgeries whenever we need them, right? So like.
The problem is it's all for profit, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my thing, right? My thing on it is healthcare, like medical expenses, housing, those type of things should not be for profit. Right. You know what I mean? Like, they just shouldn't be for profit because it goes along with the basic necessities and the basic rights that we all have, have and should have today. And so it's weird how, when it comes to healthcare, we refuse to acknowledge the fact that it's overpriced. People don't even get in the ambulance. I've never seen somebody actually get in the ambulance when it's come. I've seen the ambulance show up to many places. I've never seen it ever. People get in it. You know what I mean?
Like, no, yeah, the ambulance, bro. Like, I remember, man, this was about 10 years ago at this point. I remember one time I had gastric reflux, right? So, and I didn't know it. And I was eating and drinking all this acidic stuff. And over time, it built like this, like, felt like a golf ball was stuck in my throat. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was in this auditorium packed full of people and I couldn't breathe. Like, I physically couldn't breathe. Yeah. And so somebody called 911 for me. The ambulance pulls up, right? And they're like, hey, yeah, we can give you a ride over to the hospital. Or you can, just drive yourself to, urgent care to go see somebody. I was like, oh, how much would it be to ride with you?
Quick around the corner, right?
just quick, right around the corner. $5,000.
$5,000 for a ride they was going to take anyways.
2.8 miles away from campus. $5,000. And when they said that, I was like, I'm good. I can swallow. I can drive myself. Yeah, I'm straight.
I'm good.
I went straight to the urgent care. Obviously, got it figured out. Figured out what it was.
And then they drove back to the hospital anyways. And did they charge you $5,000 for them driving back?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah. They came out to see me though. Okay. But I mean, yeah, it's like things like that, man, where it's like it's so expensive to do that stuff. Even if you have insurance, right?
Right.
And then, in certain other areas, certain other places in the world, that's free of charge.
Exactly. You fix. There was a billionaire that he lived in the community is where he had grown up, and I remember this story because I had seen it on the news not too long ago. But he had seen this community he grew up in go from when he was, I guess, growing up. It was kind of a very public, nice place, and over time it was a smaller community, so it deteriorated. And so because he wanted to be there, he continued to invest in said community over and over and over again. And the way that you fix the issues that they had in the community, such as violence and not having really any good businesses, is by investing in the community. You fix the fact that people can't eat. You fix the fact that people don't have housing. You fix the fact that people don't have basic medical needs met, and all of a sudden all the violence, all the homelessness, right? Well, you're taking people off the street by giving them housing, but that's part of it. It's beyond just healthcare. Taking care of somebody's being is more than just the medical aspect of it, right? Because as a human being, you need space to be yourself. You need these things as basic necessities for 2023. And so when you meet those, you see less violence, you see less of that stuff because people getting their basic needs met. And that's some of the problems we having right now, especially in Austin, for example. You see a bunch of homelessness and you getting more increased violence. You're getting that stuff because, there's not enough. And everything's going skyrocketing in terms of pricing. If it's for profit.
If people had their basic needs, I mean, you see it in so many stats across so many places that have free healthcare. Crime rates are so reduced. man.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Because you can't be cheap. You can't be cheap. It's not the shortcut, right?
No, you know what? That's funny you say that. Like, being cheap is expensive, bro. Yeah. I remember one time I was being cheap, and I found somebody on Craigslist. It was a long time ago to do my brakes. Yeah. And I just needed new brake pads, and so he was like, "Yeah, I'll charge you." Just the brake pads and just throw me $10. And I should have just did it myself, to be honest with you. But I was like, yeah, all right, cool. You could just do it for me, right? I was in college. I just want somebody to do my brake pads. Yeah. He stole my brake pads and put on blank brake pads. So I didn't know that. And as I was driving, I destroyed my rotors in the process. That's crazy. So in the process, that $70 job, I had to go back. I had to buy new brake pads. I had to buy rotors. All that turned into about a $700 job just because I was being cheap in the first place, and I wouldn't go take it to I'm not gonna say a dealership, but an auto shop. Them charged me, probably $120 to do my brakes. Being cheap turned out to be expensive for me, right? And that applies to a lot of things. And that applies to a lot of things. I think that when you have a cheap mindset, that could become expensive. It really can, depending on anything you do, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like if we had cheap quality mics,
you wouldn't be able to hear us.
You wouldn't be able to hear us. So it's like the same thing, right? And so, yeah, man, I hear what you're saying, and I think quality is important, right? Too, in the whole thing, and I think that is one good thing about America is that we do have, quality doctors, right? You think about that Damar Hamlin situation and how, if that probably happened anywhere else in the world, it probably wouldn't have been the same outcome. Probably not even the same world. You look at it in the same in the same country, like some places probably weren't even equipped to do that. Right. And that's sometimes the disparity that we do talk about. Is like, there's certain areas right here within our own nation that have better access to health, be it urgent cares, be it pharmacies to be able to pick up medications. Yeah. Some people don't have good access to that, in certain cities and certain communities and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a lot. I feel like we can look at that question from a ton of different angles, right? Absolutely. And dissect it, because I think we have an opportunity to be disruptive in this industry and make change for the better for a lot of people. I mean, there's ways to do it. I don't know all the ways to do it, but I do know there's ways to make sure that 27 million people have access to some form of health care. And on top of that, those 22,000 people, we could reduce that number. Because there's no reason why somebody shouldn't be able to get treated for something common and for something basic. Yeah. That's to me a human right. You know what I mean? And absolutely. And that should be
Yeah, more people need to be speaking out to that, and you need some of the wealthier people in society to go push for those things and to make some of that stuff happen, right? You got all this money, what to hoard it? Like there is no society as you know it if you don't take care of the society. So the people who have a lot of money, we all need to be doing our part. Essentially what it goes back to. Whether you have a lot, have a little, you got to do your part. And that, what I'm saying, some people just get too big for their britches and don't want to do that. And sometimes it feels like the government gets too big for its britches and doesn't want to do that, But
yeah, man. I mean, it's one argument that I heard a while ago when it came to healthcare too, and we can move on after this, unless you got more thoughts. Somebody said, well, if we did the universal healthcare again, it's not free because you got to pay taxes and stuff like that. Free healthcare, whatever. They said we would just go into more debt, and I find that so interesting. That argument so interesting because it's like our debt is in our own currency, so in a way we could just print more money, and so essentially we are not going to debt for doing something like that. Right. And if anything, we're saving ourselves costs in the healthcare, industry as a whole, as a nation. You're saving people money. You know what I mean? I think the average person in America pays like $10,000 per year for health insurance versus, Canada and I want to say UK as well. They pay like $5,000 per year, and it's free. So it's like, like pick your poison type deal. You know what I mean? There's opportunities for us to make change for sure. That's what I'm pretty much trying to say.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely an area where the United States needs to improve. Capitalism is good for some things, but there's other things that, like, at some point you gotta. All right, we don't need to be making profit off people's injuries. Maybe we just heal them and then get them back to being productive members of society, right? Because at the end of the day, if the federal government really cares about, being a prosperous nation, then they want everybody to be productive in society and to be at your best. You need education. That's the other one. Education, housing, and medical. All three of those should be nonprofit. Yep. Everybody needs to be educated. Everybody needs to be tended to medically when you have something happening to you. It's out of your control.
And truly educated, not education that makes that puts you in line to do just work throughout your, like, education that doesn't liberate your creativity. You know what I mean? Right. Like actual education.
Truth, which is hard to find.
Yeah. So no, and that education house. That's a whole weekend.
Teachers quitting. Anyways,
Go into that at some point, but man, we can go ahead and dive into another one, man.
I think it's you, big dog. Maybe one. Is one left? Or two?
Let's see, one. Oh yeah, it's one more left. Okay.
It's number one, big old number one.
One at the top. What we got? Let's see. What do you feel God's challenge is for you this year? This is a good one.
This is a good one.
Hey man, and before we answer this one, man, any of these questions that we ask, make sure y'all answer them in the comment section. We'll let it hear your thoughts, and if y'all have any feedback, y'all want to say anything, man, make sure y'all staying engaged, because we can't do it without y'all. To be honest with you. So again, make sure y'all like and subscribe. But man, what you feel? What you feel God's doing for you to talk to you about? What's the challenge?
I think. The challenge is being present, especially today. I think even more so, like we talked about, everything's so fast paced. It's so easy to get wrapped up, even in just your life, my life specifically, me. So I think my challenge is to be present and to go beyond that, to step into the opportunities that have kind of presented themselves over the last couple of years, like we talked about earlier. Some of the things like coaching football. And interacting with the youth, and doing things like this. I think the challenge for me this year is very much to step into the opportunities that are in front of me and take that on as I can, and trust that God's going to equip me as I go. I don't always feel like I got everything I need. But at the same time, I know I got everything I need, because in the moment, if I needed something, boom, he could give it to me in an instant. So I think, and further than that, right, to expand upon that idea, I think it's about, right, being me, and more than just, I have been working on my family and my job and the basic things, but beyond that, taking it from it as a gamer, for example, right? I'm a gamer. Yep. Anybody who knows me knows I be on the game a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much, but it's all good. We all be, But as a gamer, right, you got the main story, right? You got any game, you got the main story, you know what I mean? And then you got the side quests. And I never used to do the side quests in any really games like that, because I was always a main story kind of guy. I always want to know what is the main thing going on? Where does the main story take me? What are the main rewards, right? Yeah. I'm trying to get to the end. You know what I mean? Be done. Say, I beat that thing. I beat the game, But
I did the whole complete thing.
Right. But you really can't complete it unless you do the side missions, right? And the side missions, present themselves in every moment of life, and the things that seem so ordinary, right? Like your family or your friend coming to visit you at the house, like those little conversations. Each and everything you do is really an opportunity, to complete. And them side missions, and to really show up and be who you are and who you were called to be. and not just be worn out by the main thing you got going on, which is the work, or is the, every day, whatever you got going on during the day, whatever your responsibilities are. You can't just get, there's another level to it. You can't just be getting worn down with that. You got to bring that energy and bring your, what you do to every aspect of your life, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I feel like this year.
I like that because with the side missions, like you're saying, like there's so much wisdom that you gain on, like, even like taking it from a gamer's perspective, like you learn different skills, or you make new connections, or you have a more complete experience going through that game, right? And I think it's a challenge to really anybody to take on the side missions with enthusiasm, right? So it's like whenever you're going to eat with your mom, or you got family coming over, or you got friends coming over, doing everything with full passion, right. and because those side things, those little things might not be a part of what you overarching are trying to achieve or do, right. But they all are important to the entire story.
Yeah. And you just reminded me. So let me, for example, a story about the side missions, right? The whole reason I got to coaching now, right, on a 7-on-7 team is because my youth pastor, knows another guy who played in the NFL, who knows another, who knows this other guy, and so the whole opportunity came back to me because Brad, who's running it, who knows my youth pastor, who's also coaching, had met me before, a while back. And I don't remember too much of that meeting. He probably didn't remember too much of it either, but we had talked for long enough for him to know kind of who I was. And that little bit, right, was enough for him to say, oh, okay, yeah, let me give him a shot. Let me give him a shot out here and see what he can do, coaching. And then once he saw what I was about, he was like, okay, great. Yeah, we on board. But had he not met me before, he, maybe he would have just made some time to meet me to see if I could, but maybe not. Maybe he just would have known somebody else or picked somebody else for the opportunity, because he didn't know what I was about, So it's funny. That's a little thing, that would have been a moment that, normally wouldn't have been a big deal, but those little moments in each and every little side mission can really add up to affecting your main mission, your main goal, how you operate.
Exactly, like little things, man. You always hear me talk about the little things, man. It's the little details. It's the attention to detail that I think that, God really, if you listen, he calls us to. You know what I mean? Because it's really not. He got all the main stuff, all the big stuff. That's all taken care of. He just want to see how we operate within the day to day, right? Are we loving every single day to the people that we're coming across and the things that we're doing? And I think, one of my favorite Bible verses is Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. It's working for the Lord, not for men. And I think it sounds like you have been able to make that shift, and pretty much bring that to life. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're saying, in all little things that I'm doing, I'm trying to, do that with love and trying to, and so I think that's dope. So I gotta give you your flowers and give you your kudos, because a lot of people, especially whenever you're trying to live a life and walk with God a little bit, and I've had my struggles. I'll be the first one to admit, right? But it's another Bible verse, and I can't think of the Bible verse, but I know the verse, and it's therefore any man that be in Christ is a new creation. Old things pass away and all things are made new. And I think in every day, if you think about it, is a new day. You know what I'm saying? Every single day we got new opportunity. We get new grace. We get new mercy. We got an opportunity to do something new, even if it is something of old. You know what I mean? It's like, but we gotta sever that. We gotta stop looking in the past and think about these new things that we have access to, that we're granted to, because we don't know ultimately when our last meal is, right? Yeah. So, I think that's dope. That's kind of what it's alluding to. So.
What do you feel like he's challenging you? You know what I'm saying? What do you feel like he's got for you this year, or what kind of challenges he bestowed upon your heart?
I think, I feel like he's always challenging me, right? Every single day. But I think the biggest, He gave me 3 words not too long ago that really kind of stuck with me, and I felt like that this is what I really need to focus on this year, and that was trust, patience, and grit. And I think he's calling me or challenging me to trust what I'm doing, trust the things that's coming together, trust the things that are forming for me, have patience that they all gonna come together in its proper time. And then have grit in the things that I'm doing, meaning work hard in everything you do right now. Right. You know what I mean? Because it might not, we were talking a little bit earlier about, about successes and stuff like that, right? And I think for me, I focused too much on success, and I didn't focus enough on significance and purpose. And I think once I've made that mindset shift, things have slowed down for me, and I'm okay with things slowly coming together. Right. Because truly in all, like, the fastest way we should be trying to get anywhere is slowly. I'm not trying to rush through this life that God has blessed me with. Because I think I saw somewhere where it was like, it's more likely for you not to exist than for you to actually exist. And so it's it's when you really even think about just the science behind just being alive today, man, you can't take it for granted. And I think for me, it's like I would do that in ways because I was so focused on, running in the rat race, trying to get to where I need to get to be successful and get this and that, and truly that's not what life is. Life is finding your purpose, finding what you're good at, exploring your talents. And I think that I've in this past 2 years that we've been away, I've found those things. You know what I mean? And now it's a time for me to be able to trust that this is what I'm called to do. Mm-hmm. Have patience that it's going to be set in front of me at the right time, and as I'm going through it, just work my ass off. So I'm thankful for that challenge, and I'm excited for the next challenge because it's like going hiking, man. You climb a mountain and you be like, oh, look at that mountain over there. Like, I want to go climb that next. Right. But
you get to the top, you see a new peak.
Yeah, but you got to get to the top of the one you climbing, right? So
and that comes from like one step. You know what I'm saying? You can't climb a mountain in one giant leap.
We can't do it. And even if you did, you taking away from the journey. You taking away from the beauty of all the things that mountain has to offer. You know what I'm saying? Just like going back to your side missions, you taking away from the fullness of the game if you just do the main missions and you don't do the side. Yeah. So it's like you want to be able to enjoy and take in, because that's what's going to create a resilient person. Because that entire journey, if you don't do it in a leap, it's going to be hard. Sometimes it's going to be easy. Sometimes it might be healy. Sometimes it might, you know what I mean? Like, you never know. It might be rocky. You never know what it's going to be. But if you keep climbing, you're going to go through different experiences and, different adverse conditions. And that's going to strengthen you.
Make you ready for the next mountain.
Exactly. And if you take a leap on that one, and then you can't take a leap on the next one, now you just sitting there waiting and people just passing you up. Yeah. So I like the idea of, again, just trusting that it might be raining right now or it might be cloudy out. You know what I mean? It's all good. Like, that sun poking through on the other side. Uh-huh. I just gotta keep walking. Just go right into the storm.
That's how you gotta take it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Be more like a buffalo. Yeah. Like buffaloes, when they see a storm, they don't run away from it. They run to it. Because they know if I get to it and get through it, I'm good. The storm is past, and now I got access to water and more vegetation. Because we all know once water hits grass and vegetation, things sprout more. So
they can grow
and they can eat good. And after all the work they just put in. So it's like having that mindset. But I think most importantly, significance over success. Yeah. Trust, patience, and grit. And if I can focus on those things, I think I'm in a good position to take on the next thing that he has for me. But I think right now, I still got work to do. Right, I got work to do in a lot of areas to be able to fully become, I would say, one with the challenges that I have this year. and I'm gonna attack him, man. I'm gonna go for him. You know, I'm not gonna sit back and just kind of just no. I mean, every single day is gonna be what am I doing? Am I trusting fully what we got going on? Am I having patience? Am I taking the breath? And having patience is not. A lot of people can look at it like, oh well, what does having patience look like for you, right?
It's not doing nothing.
It's not doing nothing, but what it's doing is having gratitude for the steps that I'm taking. I'm not frustrated with today because I'm not where I want to be. I'm thankful for today for what I have and where I'm at, right. And that's having patience. That's you slowly moving through every single day of saying, hey, you know what, like I have an opportunity today to do something to better whatever I got going on, but it's not the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully I'll have another day tomorrow if the Lord bless me to be able to do it again. And it's just having patience that one day it's going to all lead to what you're trying to have. You know, so, I mean, I think that's how I look at the patience. I'm grateful, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful. I'm just trying to stay prayed up, you know? And I'm just trying to listen. And I think for me, as a believer in Jesus, that's what's up me. You know, so I think that those are my challenges, man. But man, that was.
Let us know what y'all think. Let us know what y'all think y'all's challenge for this year is, or what y'all think your year is. You know, how if you got words or whatever you got for this year, man. Let us know. You know.
We would love to hear it. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, and make sure I ring that bell too, because that'll notify y'all when we drop it. We're gonna try to drop every single week for y'all. So we glad to be back. This is a halftime radio show, and we out.
We out.